What if I told you that most people spend years struggling to reach their first $100,000, but after that, money starts growing so fast, it almost feels unfair. And the craziest part? You might already be closer than you think, or further behind than you realize. Have you ever been scrolling through social media, seeing people your age buying homes, traveling the world, investing like pros, and quietly wondering, am I falling behind? Maybe you've celebrated hitting 4 digits in your savings account, while someone else casually talks about their investment portfolio. Or maybe it's 3 a.m. and you're lying in bed, doing mental math, trying to figure out if you'll ever actually retire. Here's the truth nobody says out loud. Most people have no idea where they stand financially. And today, we're going to fix that. Let's pull back the curtain on something most people are too uncomfortable to talk about. When do people actually build wealth? Not the fantasy timeline, not the perfect life plan, but the real, messy, unpredictable truth. Most people think wealth building looks like this. Graduate at 22, get a job, save consistently, hit $100,000 by 30, and retire with $1 million at 65. Sounds neat, sounds clean, but reality is chaotic, it's uneven, and it's wildly different for everyone. Here's something that might surprise you. Most millionaires aren't lottery winners. They're not celebrities. They're not even geniuses. They're normal people who simply understood a few rules earlier than everyone else. And once you understand those rules, everything changes. Let's start with the first big milestone, $100,000 in net worth. This is where everything begins. And for most people, this feels like climbing a mountain with no map. Because here's the problem. At this stage, you are doing almost all the work. No magic, no shortcuts, no massive investment gains. Just your income, your discipline, and your choices. On average, people reach $100,000 around age 29. But here's the twist. Many don't reach it until their late 30s. And some are still in negative net worth well into their 40s. Student loans, credit cards, lifestyle inflation is more common than you think. And this is where most people quit. They look at their slow progress and think, this isn't working. But what they don't realize is, they're standing right before the turning point. Because once you cross $100,000, everything starts to accelerate. The next milestone? $250,000. And guess what? It doesn't take another decade. Most people hit this between 33 and 35. That means it takes about 6 to 7 years to reach your first $100K. But only 4 to 5 years to add another $150,000. Why? Compound interest. Now your money is no longer sitting still. It's working, growing, multiplying. If you have $200,000 invested, earning 8% annually, that's $16,000 a year, without you lifting a finger. And something powerful happens in your mind at this stage. You stop seeing investing as a chore and start seeing it as an opportunity. Because now your money is working with you and not against you. Next comes a milestone that changes everything. $500,000. Most people hit this between 35 and 40. And this is where wealth building feels completely different. At this level, your investments can generate around $40,000 per year. Think about that. That's close to a full-time salary earned passively. While you sleep, while you eat, while you watch Netflix. This is when people start feeling something new. Freedom. Not because they're rich yet, but because they're no longer trapped. They know if something goes wrong, they'll be okay. And here's a wild statistic. Only about 1 in 6 households ever reach this level. So if you get here, you're already ahead of the majority. Now let's talk about the big one, $1 million. The millionaire milestone. The dream. The goal everyone talks about. Most people reach this around age 49. Some earlier, some later. But here's what's fascinating. It becomes easier than you expect. Because now, your investments are generating $80,000 or more per year. That's not just growth. That's momentum. And suddenly, you're not chasing money anymore. Money is chasing you. But here's the part that blows most people's minds. Going from $1 million to $2 million, is often faster than going from $0 to $100,000. Let that sink in. The hardest part of your entire financial journey is the beginning. Once you build the foundation, growth becomes exponential. At $2 million, your investments could generate $160,000 per year. Without effort, without overtime, without burnout, you've essentially built a system that pays you forever. But here's where things get complicated because not everyone is playing the same game. Different generations are experiencing completely different realities. Some millennials, especially top earners, are building wealth faster than any generation before them. They have access to investment apps, online education, global opportunities. They're learning faster and growing faster. But at the same time, the average person is falling behind. Higher rent, higher housing prices, higher cost of living. Today, buying a home requires nearly $86,000 just for a down payment. That's money that could have been invested, money that could have grown. So now people face a tough choice: buy a house or build wealth. And there's no easy answer. This is why the gap is growing between those who understand the game early and those who don't. Because here's the truth: wealth isn't just about income. It's about timing, behavior, and consistency. If you start early, even small amounts can grow into something massive. But if you delay, you're fighting against time itself. And that's why these milestones matter. Not to compare yourself, but to understand where you are. Because if you're 25 with $50,000 saved, you're ahead. If you're 35 with $200,000, you're on track. If you're just starting, you're not late. You're just at the beginning of the hardest phase. And remember, every millionaire once had their first $1,000. Every portfolio started at zero. The difference: they didn't stop. They kept investing. They avoided unnecessary lifestyle upgrades. They stayed consistent, even when it felt slow. Because they understood something most people ignore: wealth is not built in months. It's built in habits. So instead of asking, am I ahead or behind? Ask yourself, am I even playing the game? Because once you start, once you stay consistent, once you let time do its job, everything changes. So here's your takeaway: the journey to wealth isn't a straight line. It's slow at first, then suddenly, it explodes. Your first $100,000 will test your patience. Your next $100,000 will build your confidence. And everything after that will build your freedom. So start now, even if it's small, even if it feels insignificant, because one day you'll look back and realize that tiny step changed everything. And if this video made you think differently about money, drop a comment and tell me where you are in your journey. I read every single one. And hey, if you want more real, honest breakdowns like this, hit that subscribe button, because the next video might just be the one that changes your financial future.